iPad? Can we hit the iPad? I was just frontin'. You should stop frontin', babe. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. A little bit closer. There we go. And we locked eyes. Dun, 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 dun. Let's do some different front runners today, huh? Let's take these out the game. Let's go. Let's throw some Sahib with the Atlas. Let's do some front runners with Celestial Fascination. Let's swap these out and go. Let's hit them up with the FOMOs. We haven't done the FOMOs in a while. We got African back there? We do. I was just frontin'. You know I want you back. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, cool. And then we could put that right in there so people can see. Friday sin of the day. Serge Luton's Shirgui. Saturday. Azaro Wanted by Night. Good man. Good man. Joel, good to see you. Good to see you, Joel. Joel, you need to send me a picture of your collection, man. I want you on Rate My Fragrance. Where is freaking... What am I looking for? That's the real question. Look at this stuff skating. What are we looking for? We're looking for an iPad. Is it here? Yes. First do we touch? Now I think I do have a light that I can illuminate the collection a little bit better. So we're gonna try to do that tonight. What's going on, guys? We're just getting started. Check out the collection. We got bottles now on the bottom, as you could see. So now we got 2 layers. I busted out some more frags. So now we got probably 30 fragrances on the bottom, maybe like 50 on the top. Just wanted to put more fragrances out. Another thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to illuminate the setup a little bit so you guys can see the fragrances better, so we can have more talking points. Thank you, Just Jules. How can I be a mod too? The way you become a mod in this channel is you have to be frequent, you have to be interactive, and that's really it. Frequent, interactive, and alert. Frequent is oftentimes the reason people don't get modded, because they just like the idea of being mod, but they can't fill the shoes they're trying to wear. What's going on, everybody? Joel, Just, Ivan, SoCal. Where's the booze? Here's the booze. We're gonna put on some music. You guys, all you guys rolling in here, we're just getting started. We just started the stream. Here's the booze. We're gonna get the music started first, because y'all know me. We gotta have some music on us, just a must. As I'm setting everything up, feel free to check out the collection, see if you guys have any questions about anything. We may even start the stream off. We might even start the stream off once I get it illuminated. Is it possible to zoom out on here? Oh. No, so I can't do my widescreen view. Can I turn it? Orientation, Orientation locked. So what if I went like right here? No, that's not going to be too hot either. I want you guys to be able to see the collection if we're actually like talking specifically about the collection. So like I can take questions while you guys are just looking at the fragrances like this. But normally people like me to be in the shot. So we'll do a little bit of the live tonight, just staring at the collection. And then we'll do most of the episode with me actually on the camera answering questions. I like, excuse me, I like being on the camera because a lot of you guys don't know this, but every time a live is over, I go back, download the live, and I cut 60-second clips for the reels. So every time you guys see me drop reels, not necessarily the long form content, but specifically the reels are all clipped from lives that we've had. So that's why I like to be on camera, because I doubled the live content as my YouTube shorts. It wouldn't be one picture. There's too much. It would be multiples. No, that's okay, Joel. I mean, even if you sent me like maybe your top 10, what you're wearing right now, as far as top 10, I know there's never really a true top 10, but just maybe top 10 fragrances that you're enjoying right now. Maybe take a picture of them together, and I'll know that's not your entire collection, but we can just kind of analyze what you've been rocking. I think it would, most people that submit don't really have a lot of niche. They just have designer and discounter. So it might be cool to just have your perspective. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You'll be one of many because like right now I have like 25 submissions. So I have like 25 submissions. So we have plenty of submissions. I just think your perspective and your collection would be nice for the people to see, even if it's just a fraction of it. I'm not able to showcase all of my collection in this live. We've got closets full. Let me see. We've got closets full of boxes of just backup fragrances and stuff I haven't even gone through yet. There's an extra shelf down here of samples and stuff. So and then I have fragrances in my bedroom as well. So, but I still like to show the fragrances because people might see a fragrance and have a question, and it's good stuff. So, okay, is the iPad on? Because we need some music. It's a little bit dry in here. Ask away your guys' questions. Raka says, suggest me 2 to 3. Why is it always 2 to 3 or 3 or more? Why can't it just be one fragrance? Everybody always wants a top 3. No wonder everybody recycles top 3s, top 5s all the time. You guys know you can ask more than one question, right? So why bomb it out on asking for a multiple fragrance question? Suggest to me 2 or 3 party perfumes for the summer and winter. Well, I'm not going to recommend 6 fragrances. That's just a little bit too much. Should be a compliment getter also. Well, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I'm finding that a lot of you don't get compliments because you don't look the part. You may take a fragrance, for instance, like Versace Eros EDT, which is a beautiful any season, any reason fragrance, but I think it pops a little more off skin in the cold weather. In the warm weather, it's a lot smoother. This is the EDT, which I do think is the best, even though if I was to choose, I might wear the Parfum more. I find the EDT to be louder in projection. But all that aside, I find that a lot of people will wear Eros and they'll just throw on a t-shirt and some tailored jeans and they'll go party. Or they'll hit up a bar or whatever. Or they'll try to hit on some chicks or whatever. But you just don't look the part. You don't have a collared shirt. You don't have a fitted shirt. You don't have fitted jeans. You might have some tennis shoes on. You're not really dressed up. You're not semi-formal. And when you're trying to be romantic, because that's what this fragrance is, it's a slightly aggressive, sweet fragrance sitting on freshness and earthiness. So the sweetness is what's going to be the attention grabber. I wouldn't really say Eros is a head turner, but it is an attention grabber. It'll make the girl be like, it'll catch her attention. Now, Eros is a fragrance, you're going to get the attention, but then you got to have the swagger, the vernacular, you know what I'm saying? Which for all you kids out there, it just means you got to be dressed right and your talk game has to be vicious. Eros is not going to do all the work for you. So I find that a lot of people will have a really great fragrance, such as Eros EDT, but they got no talk game, they got no dress game, and so they're not going to really pull compliments. A girl is not going to compliment you on scent alone. It's a full package deal. It's an audio visual experience. So she'll first smell you, then she'll look at you, and then say, yeah, he's worth going up to and saying, hey, you smell really good. Because a girl's not really going to tell you you smell good if you look ugly. It's just not going to happen. And if she does, you might as well go buy a lottery ticket because she's doing you a favor. She's one of them real ones. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these fragrances that I would recommend are absolutely able to grab compliments. The question is, can you look the part, not just smell the part? It also is a big turnoff if you smell the part and don't look the part, and vice versa. So I'm going to give you one summer fragrance and one winter fragrance. The first fragrance, obviously, was Versace Eros EDT. I'm sure you're very familiar with it, but what's great about it is it's any season, any reason, smoother in the warm weather, more loud in the colder weather, sweeter in the colder weather, I find. Fresh, smooth, sweet, Jean-Paul Gaultier-esque, but a little less sweet than a Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrance, but it still has that allure and grab with the sweetness that most Jean-Pauls have. Le Male, Ultra Male, Le Beau, Paradise Garden, and Le Male Elixir. But it's extremely versatile and it's extremely tried and true. Many people have evaluated Versace Eros versus other fragrances out on the street, and 9 times out of 10, Eros always wins. So that's a guarantee, any season, any reason closer. If I had to go with a winter scent, I might go with something. I find that cold weather scents that you're wearing specifically to attract the opposite sex, you got to have 3 components to a great winter fragrance if you're trying to be seductive. It has to be slightly sweet, some sort of sweet component, not overly sweet, but slightly sweet. And this is for a versatile attraction, not just a girl, but many girls. You got to be somewhat sweet. Somewhat is very important, so not overly sweet. The fragrance has to have some level of sophistication, and the fragrance has to be mysterious. I think a lot of people only get 2 of 3 when they're picking their fragrance for being attention grabbers. They might grab a sweet, sophisticated fragrance like Eros, but it'll lack the mystery component. Maybe the mystery component is spices. Maybe the mystery component is pepper. Maybe the mystery component is leather. Maybe the mystery component is oud. Maybe the mystery component is florals. Maybe the mystery component is incense. Maybe the mystery component is a different variation of woods. So those 3 is what I find are the ultimate, what people would call today, panty dropper components to a fragrance, not just winter, but just seductive in general, is it has to have mysteriousness, which can also be translated as edginess. It has to have subtle sweetness, and it has to have complexity. So for that, I might recommend something, a great starter kit fragrance in the clone world is going to be Odyssey Homme Black Edition. It's mostly a Spice Bomb / Spice Bomb infrared take, little touch of Tom Ford Noir in there, but it's fresher. So it still has that mystery and that sweetness and that complexity because it's kind of a combination of fragrances, but it's extremely fresh. Not fresh like Prada Luna Rossa Ocean or Invictus Aqua fresh or Gio Armani fresh, but it's Little more complex and heavy than those fragrances due to the sweetness and sophistication, but it does have a super open, like dark floral freshness to it that's reminiscent somewhat of like a black orchid, but nowhere near black orchid because it doesn't have patchouli, it doesn't have cacao, but it still does have a kind of darkness to it. If you want to go more mysterious and less sweet, I would recommend something like a Prada Luna Rosa Black would be my go-to for the Lady Killer fragrance. This fragrance you can wear more shirt and jeans. Luna Rosa Black is going to be a fragrance you want to at least have a collared shirt with jeans that are fitted, not loose. And at the highest formal, you can go even into a suit or a turtleneck or a long sleeve or something like that. Nice jacket, leather jacket, something like that. Prada Luna Rosa Black. So those are my winter recommendations for you. And then my summer / any season, any reason would be Eros. Okay, Joel, so you're on a shift. You're working 2 shifts. You're modding and you're working your shift. That's beautiful. Cisco says, your thoughts on Très Nuit. Très Nuit is about an 85 to 90% rendition of Green Irish Tweed. I think if you don't have a lot of fragrances in your collection, Très Nuit is a great utility fragrance because it's so easy to wear. Unlike Club de Nuit Intense that has a lemon note that sometimes is off-putting to people because it's too juicy, it's slightly synthetic, it's very projective. This is a more pine sol lemon, organic lemon cleaner lemon. It smells a little bit fresher, a little bit realer. It's very fresh, very projective in the same way as Eros EDT, but it's Green Irish Tweed DNA. I would call it lemon, slight metallic, out of the shower, super fresh. But as a freshie, the performance and the projection is really unique and nice. However, I will say if you have more than like 10 fragrances or something, Très Nuit will be a really good wear at first, and then over time you'll get bored of it and you'll want to move into something a little more complex for your freshie wear. I categorize this as a utility, freshie with charm, blind grab dumb reach fragrance. But don't expect to get an insane amount of compliments with a fragrance like that. You're just gonna smell good and women are gonna like you because you smell good. Has anyone tried Luminous Ghost? B9 Lafayette Street clone. I haven't, but I do have Lafayette Street right here. Yes, I do. I do have Lafayette Street, and I need to do a review of it this weekend. A Bond number 9 rep sent this to me. And I gotta be honest, Lafayette Street is one of the more popular men's, it might even be unisex. I don't remember. I'm really tired tonight, by the way, guys. So if I'm super chill, it's just because I've had a long week. We're not going to be live for too long. I just had to come in and say hey to you guys, answer some questions, and roll out. But Lafayette Street is a fresh, slightly synthetic green, not necessarily candied apple, but more like almost like a slight spearmint gum with a synthetic green note similar to the Spice Bomb. I forget the name of it, but it's the green Spice Bomb or even the green, yeah, it's just got this kind of spearmint and synthetic green, fresh, super loud projective fragrance. It's almost very similar to Très Nuit, except for the green note is the nuance, where Très Nuit is strictly lemon pledge, super fresh. This has a slight ultra fresh, very loud and projective green note that almost feels like it has a touch of spearmint sitting in the background behind it. It's a good fragrance, but it's not worth the money. There's some Lafayette Street clones that you can make use of. Do you like Stronger With You intensely? I do. I feel like that Armani fragrance is a bit overhyped. It's sweet, slight gourmand. It's sexy, seductive, good for a conservative date night, I would say. But there are two fragrances, Stronger With You. I think one's called like Better With You regular and Better With You intensely, or there's clones in TJ Maxx of Stronger With You that are like 95% close to the original, and you can get them for like 15 bucks. So for me, I'm going with the clones all day for Stronger With You. I don't think it's a DNA that you have to have the original of. I've heard the new Latafa Assad bourbon is a cross between Azaro Most Wanted and Stronger With You. You know, at first, a lot of people were hyping up Assad bourbon, and I think nowadays they're realizing it's not that special. For some reason, it's a Latafa. It's from the Assad line. So I think it's similar to Afnan Rebel and all the different Afnan 9 p.m. variations. A lot of people had high hopes, and those fragrances are good, but they're just not knocking anyone's socks off. And I think that's what the clone community is wanting now, is we're wanting to get a fragrance that knocks socks off. Unless you don't have a lot of fragrances and you're just getting into the clone game, you have 10 or less fragrances, you still have a lot of great options out there. But I think for people who own 10 or more fragrances, that's where these days it's not just enough to be accurate to a good fragrance that's already out. It has to be special. Otherwise, you kind of just love it for about a month and then get rid of it. And we're going to actually have an episode on that. I'm going to talk about like the top 10 clones that fell off. Thank you, Joel, for the recommendations to the chatties. Unpaid Taxes says best fresh spring summer fragrance that doesn't cost a liver. Versace Eros EDT. You can get 100 ml now for about 40 to 50 bucks with shipping. And that is the best utility, any season, any reason, but also spring, summer, fresh and seductive fragrance. I would get the EDT, not necessarily because it's the best one out of the eau de parfum and the parfum. The parfum's probably the best long-term, but it doesn't matter. They're all so close in DNA that the EDT is gonna cost you the least amount of money because it came out first. And it does have incredible performance comparatively to the EDP and parfum. I'm looking to purchase, says MMC, one out of these three frags for a professional look. Rasasi La Yukawam, X that out, don't buy that. Game of Spades Wild Card, X that out. Afnan, Not Only Intense, X that out. Don't get it. I think if you're trying to be professional, so I'm guessing work attire-esque, the problem with that is you're picking signature fragrances that have a certain swing to them. La Yukawam, leather. Wild Card, fruits. Not Only Intense, pineapple. That's not really an everyday professional, everyday lookwear. Those are signature fragrances, and you don't really want to rock a signature every single day. There is a fragrance definition to signature where people feel like it's a fragrance that you can just wear blind reach every day, any occasion, you just smell good. But I don't think those three fragrances really fall into that category. Those are all three circumstantial fragrances that you would bust out, even though they're all three really nice. One commonality I see between all of those options is that they're all sweet. The least sweet is La Yukawam, but it's also La Yukawam is also the oldest fragrance. So I would say if you're leaning to have a professional everyday wear that is still sweet, not just signature clean professional, I would probably say Prada Luna Rosa Black. It's probably going to be a nice, slightly seductive sweet, but still super professional, super upscale, sophisticated fragrance that, yeah, it might cost you 40-ish bucks as opposed to 20-ish to 30 bucks. But in the end, you're going to have a very long-term fragrance that you can wear for years and turn heads, have a discreet mysteriousness to it, but also be extremely professional. You can go from upscale casual to suit and tie, and that fragrance is going to perform incredible for you. So I hope that was helpful for you, MMC. Oh, so MMC, if you're a teacher and a speaker, Rosa Black might be a little too upscale for you. I like this one right here. Amir Paris Corner Celestial. Violet leaf. So soft, powdery sweetness. Mineral. So extremely earthy fresh. And suede, white suede. Super fresh, clean cut suede. This fragrance smells like heaven in a bottle. If I died and went to heaven, I would want the gates of heaven to smell like Amir Celestial. It really is celestial. The juice smells like the color of the bottle. And I think that this is extremely versatile as a signature scent. It's sweet. It's sophisticated with the leather note, so it's going to have the La Yucawam element of leather, even though it's suede, so it's fresher, no animalics whatsoever. But it's also going to have the freshness and the sweetness that you were looking for as well. And it's extremely signature. Teacher, speaker, Amir Celestial. Absolutely. Let's see. And SoCal already mentioned Amir Celestial, so definitely pick that up. $25 after shipping. Fragrancebuy.ca. You'll absolutely love it. Vetiver's nice as well for a teacher. I mean, you could go from anything to Vibrant Vetiver Delight, real playful, fresh green vetiver, slightly synthetic, but you're going to smell like an upscale Sprite with this fragrance. But I would also go with something like Mont Blanc Presence with that heliotrope, because you're going to have that minty, cool, fresh, very powder floral, not powder like Pegasus, but slight powder like Prada Luna Rosa Black. And it's going to be floral and extremely fresh and spearminty. So that's nice too. And extremely signature. No one's going to smell like you. Latafa Najdia, okay. I smelled 9 p.m. at the store recently, got a mosquito repellent scent. Is that just a fake or actually how it smells? You know what? I'm not going to play the music since we're not going to be live for that long tonight. 9 p.m., where are you? Here we go. I think due to the bubble gumminess, you might get repellent to some extent, like a sweet tanning lotion repellent style smell to it. By the way, guys, we have 25 people in here and only 6 likes. Please tell the algorithm to recommend this stream, because more people will come into the chat and more people will talk about fragrance. No matter what the algorithm does, we're still going to have people in here talking fragrance, and we always have a great, lively group that's going to recommend stuff to you and answer your questions before I even get to them. But make sure that you're driving the algorithm up, because I'm telling you what it's going to do. It's going to put me more organically in front of people, which means more people are going to come in here and discuss fragrance. And so far, YouTube has been spectacular at organically putting fragrance lovers into the streams of fragrance reviewers, so that you guys can have more people to chat with and not just get an answer from me, but get an answer from my mods that are in here 24/7, and get answers from the crowd. But yeah, to your repellent note, anytime you get a fragrance, clone or not, I would always first day get 3 quality sprays out in the air. 1, 2, 3. Wait for half a second. After a minute, hit 2 more in the air. 4, 5. Let it sit. And then after about a week, do the same thing. And then just let it sit. If there's any maceration to speak of, after about, some fragrances age with time quite a bit. So it could be a year span before that juice really gets to something special. But to really see what the true fragrance is at the time of purchase, you know, doing 3 sprays, then 4, 5 in a 1-day period, waiting a week and then doing it again, that'll at least oxygenate and release some of the oxygen in the bottle. Another thing you have to remember is heat affects fragrance, cold air affects a fragrance. So for instance, I live in Arizona, so a lot of times when I get a fragrance, the box might be sitting outside and it's hot, and so it adds a bunch of unnecessary pressure to the bottle. So I have to release that pressure from the bottle just to let the juice kind of settle a little bit. But, you know, if you get a repellent feel from 9 p.m., it's probably not going to go away. I don't get repellent, but I can see why you would think that, because the bubblegum note is synthetic, so it can kind of come off like a tanning lotion slash, you know, Bazooka Joe feel. Again, remember, it's cloning Ultra Male, so that makes a lot of sense why it's in that vein. You know, when you go into a tanning salon, you get a coconutty, tropical-y vibe. So this kind of bubblegum aquatic is pulling from a lot of the same notes. So I can see how that can feel like a tanning lotion or a repellent, which a lot of times repellents are modeled to smell like tanning lotions, because you're going out to a pool. They're going to give you that tropical vibe. So I would say if that's what you're getting, you probably won't get rid of it too much. But if it's subtle, do that spray method I told you and just give it some time. And of course, my streams are never complete unless bottles are falling off my shelf. All right, I like vetiver. I don't know why I haven't looked into colognes with that note. Thank you. I mean, to me personally, the best vetiver note I have right now is Mancera Vetiver Sensual. This is special. You guys know I've been talking about this forever. Vetiver Sensual is one of the most beautiful signature vetiver fragrances ever. It's got the sweetness you're looking for. It's got the amber. It radiates in heat in a special way. Incredible sillage, incredible longevity. It settles on skin more as a woodsy vetiver with a citrus medley and tons of amber. But the opening is, in the first hour of projection, is insane. Maybe even the first 2 hours is absolutely insane, and the dry down is just even better. What I love about Mancera is you always get 120 ml of juice. So yeah, you might pay 70, 80 bucks for a fragrance like this, but you will wear this every single day without question. You'll be signature. You'll have an upscale, luxurious feel. You'll have dimension with the vetiver. You'll have the citruses, so it'll almost imitate stuff in the realm of Bulgari Tiger and Imagination, that kind of fruit basket aquatic feel. But this one's way richer smelling due to the woods and due to the vetiver. And it's just special, guys. When it comes to vetiver, nothing is beating Vetiver Sensual, in my humble opinion. And I have an insane amount of vetiver-based and vetiver-forward fragrances behind me. It might be a fake or it got spoiled in some kind of way. Wait a few weeks. Yeah, Joel's correct. Have you tried Just as Rack? I haven't. Kicks, what up? I'm tired as hell tonight, bro, but I'm thugging it out for y'all, man. I'm here for y'all. Yeah, because apparently it was supposed to be sweet or something in that area, but I got my hopes up. Yeah, to be honest, you know, guys, don't buy 9 p.m. expecting the moon and the stars, man. At the end of the day, it's a $20 fragrance. The only reason I have 9 p.m. is because people wanted my take on it, and I went to the TikTok shop and got it for like $11. So I got it for a steal. I would never pay $20 to $30 for off on 9 p.m. Now, that's just my take. It is a great alternative to Ultra Male, as well as a fragrance like Lattafa Ram Silver. Both are going to be great, but Off and On 9 p.m. is the most popular when it comes to Jean-Paul Gaultier-esque fragrances as a clone. So you have to like Jean-Paul Gaultier to even begin with, especially the older fragrances from JPG, to even mess with a fragrance like Off and On 9 p.m. And if you don't, it becomes really hard to try and like it. But I personally don't wear it just because I think there's better fragrances. For instance, Le Male Elixir. And if I want Le Male Elixir, there's a lot of great relevant clones. Even recently, Lattafa's, I believe, Lionheart maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Lionheart is a La Mala Elixir clone. What else do we got, guys? I just bought Godolphin. Do you think it's good? I'm going to be honest. If you're talking about the Parfum de Marly fragrance, it's sophisticated. It's good, but it's not a fragrance I would personally wear. I don't think there's a lot of... I just did a full line review of Parfums de Marly. Every Parfums de Marly fragrance that's available, courtesy of Neiman Marcus. I had a rep show me every fragrance from that line, including, a lot of stuff on there is supposed to be unisex. But my analysis after checking all that out is that there's only a few really good ones that I like. I'm not the biggest fan of Leighton Exclusive, Parsival, Herod. Paying the money and wearing the fragrance often, I think a lot of those are so signature that they become so circumstantial. I do like Carlisle. Even Pegasus, it was good, but would I pay anywhere near retail for it? No. I'm just a big fan of Carlisle. I'm just a big fan of it. But yeah, Godolphin or whatever, it's a good fragrance. You're gonna wear it, you're gonna like it a lot. But I think long term, you're gonna get bored of it and have to pull it out very circumstantially. Someone at work was wearing 1 Million Elixir. It can smell them a mile away. I went in and picked it up. No one can smell it on me. They said they only smell it up close. Why is that? I would reckon you're going nose blind to it. 1 Million Elixir is certainly loud enough and projects enough and has great distance on it. You might also be a sissy sprayer. So if you're spraying less than 4 or 5 times, up it to about 8, and that'll change really quickly. Don't be intimidated by 8 sprays. Put on 8 sprays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go stand outside. Stand outside, let your fragrance settle, let some of it get some aeration, then go about your day and you'll be just fine. Another issue might be because you're not spraying it on skin. Maybe you're only spraying it on clothes and you need to start hitting your neckline, the back of the neck on the traps, your pulse points in your arms, things like that, rather than clothes. That might help as well. Maybe you're only spraying clothes and so it's aerating and taking the fragrance off of you very quickly. So look into those and see what might apply to you and then correct those and you'll be super fine. But definitely don't sissy spray it. Just because it's sweet doesn't mean it lasts. Okay, Jonathan says, how many times did you spray it? Okay, so you guys are all analyzing what he did. I like that you guys are helping each other. It's beautiful. Yeah, 2 to 3 is too weak. You're sissy spraying it. Don't be a sissy, man. Go up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just do the Macarena and put it on skin instead of clothes. Stand outside to let yourself aerate for about 2 minutes so it settles down. Don't be intimidated by that first initial projection of loudness. Even if it makes you feel better to spray it on outside, do it, but get it on skin, then put your clothes on, aerate a little bit, then go about your day. You'll be straight. What's going on, Bo? Dímelo, chico. What's up, y'all? What's up, Greenlee? Do you have Lattafa Camera? I don't have Camera. I've smelled it many times, but I do have Kawa, and I always recommend Kawa over Camera. Littlest bit less sweet. Little bit more interesting due to the what I call caramel latte note, even though everybody else says coffee. You don't smell coffee bean coffee. But people say coffee because on Fragrantica it says coffee. This is truly a caramel latte or a flat white type of coffee note. Sweet, thick. This is a beautiful fragrance for holidays, but I wouldn't wear it for anything else because it's too sweet. It's very loud and projective. So 2 to 3 sprays will literally go 10 hours plus. So I like it for that reason. This juice will last an eternity. But yeah, the coffee note kind of makes it more masculine. It's a little more interesting. I've always felt like Kawa or Kamra Original was not anywhere close to Angel Share as people say they do. If you want Angel Share, Amir from Paris Corner Fire Your Desire is the closest you're going to get. So if that's the direction you're going for Angel Share, definitely get that. Kamra is not an alternative to Angel Share, but let's just treat it as its own fragrance. Angel Share aside, this is a much better fragrance than the original Kawa due to those two things I said. The dialed down sweetness and the coffee note to make it more masculine and more interesting, give it a little more dimension. I really like Azaro Most Wanted. Can you suggest me a dupe of that? I personally can't, Bram. Let's see. Do you say wanted? Oh, the most wanted. So let's just look. I thought there was one, though. So Maison Alhambra Scepter, and Latafa Ansam Silver, ANSAAM Silver. Ansam seems like it comes quite close, 85 to 90%. So that would be my recommendation to you, buddy. Okay, anyone have any recommendations for year-round usage? Absolutely. Odyssey Homme Black from Latafa, Amir Celestial, Gary's Den from FOMO. Those are three go-tos. Cassius from Maison Alhambra. A lot of these fragrances are everyday use for the year, but I'm just throwing out some names to you. One I've really been hooked on is this Maison Alhambra Afro Leather. I think it's absolutely one-to-one to African Leather from Memo Paris. It's pretty much Carlisle, but way more manly. Carlisle leans slightly unisex. It's more apple pie-ish. This is more, I call this tiger piss in a bottle. I know that's not helpful for you guys as far as aroma, but there's this sexy man on the dance floor, upscale dressed, grabs any woman he wants and just blind shoots them down. They all fall into his pocket. It's wild, it's edgy, but it's super seductive. It's got the slight sweetness. It's got the leather, but the leather's untraceable. You don't even smell a leather note, but it's behind there because you can just tell from the sophistication. It's warm, spicy, ambery, good amount of sweet, 4 or 5 out of 10 sweetness. It's got this wild man edge to it, you know, like just this animal. It's animalistic, but not animalic. Animalic is, you know, earthy, animal reminiscent. This is animalistic, just meaning it has a tiger-esque, like, roar factor to it. Like, I am a man that women want, and I'm aware of that. And Maison Alhambra absolutely knocked this clone out of the freaking park. Do you like Precious Liquid? It's okay. 7 out of 10. Latafa Kingdom, Jean-Paul Le Male Elixir. Kingdom, yes, Kingdom. 9 p.m. doesn't smell like Le Male Elixir to me. It's a nice beginner fragrance, though. Yeah, you know, Kevin, I feel like 9 p.m. is as close to Ultra Male as Assad is to Sauvage Elixir. They're more twist fragrances. They're more like 70% close, 30% twist. But that's okay. You know, I also recommended Latafa's Rams Silver, which is much closer. Gary's Den is iris heavy or leather dominant. I don't think it's leather. It absolutely is iris, but it's dusty iris. So much fresher iris because it's cloning Dior Homme Parfum, not Dior Homme Intense. So you're not getting that creamy, thick, dense, powdery iris. It's a fresh, almost tobacco brush, but there's no tobacco. I just mean the edgy bite of that tobacco notes provide. It's a much fresher take on the Dior Homme Parfum, but it's still 9 out of 10 closeness, in my opinion, to Dior Homme Parfum. It's really beautiful. In fact, it's almost spot on with the new 2025 Dior Homme Parfum, but I actually think the Dior Homme Parfum 2025 today is a much cheaper smelling version of Gary's Den. Gary's Den is a lot smoother and a lot more beautiful as a fragrance. Dior Homme is thick. Dior Homme Parfum 2025 is dense and it's thick, but it feels very synthetically cheap. It feels like very cheap ingredients, and it feels like if you've never smelled a Dior fragrance before, you'll absolutely love it because it's a good intro still to that classic iris note that they provide. But to people who have had Dior Homme Parfum originals or 2020 and down, and or Dior Homme Intense, and or Dior Homme Sport, and or Dior Homme Cologne, it is not what it used to be. And I thought they were going to put a twist on it, which they kind of have, but they used really cheap ingredients. So anybody who's slightly familiar with the Dior history and DNA will try to love the fragrance at first sniff, but the more you smell it, just the more cheap materially it feels like. It doesn't have that luxury anymore. So I actually prefer Gary's Den. Please post a detailed review about Gary's Den. There's already a detailed review. If you click out of my live and go to my actual videos page, and on the search bar for my video vault, you type Gary's Den, there is a thorough review of it already. So definitely feel free to check that out if you haven't already, which it doesn't look like you have. Hey bro, so glad I saw you were on live before I went to bed. Just love watching the lives. Could you please beatbox for us? Yeah, you got to remember though, I haven't beatboxed in like 20 years. So it's hard to just pull beatboxes out of my butt, but we're going to do it for you guys. Mushroom jazz. We need to turn this up a little bit. Oh, dang, the beat switched up. There you guys go. We tried, guys. We tried to freestyle something for you. All right. Let's answer a couple more questions before we get out of here. Man doing the Mancera with his spray routine. Oh, the Macarena with his spray routine. Absolutely, man. A dupe for Naxos. I think you should get actual Naxos. However, I do think Naxos is overhyped. The only Naxos clone I think you can get that's even valid in the community is what the heck is that fragrance called? I almost said La Yucawam. That's not it. Vo Elegante from Amir Paris Corner. Vo Elegante from Amir Paris Corner. And it's Vo like V-O-U-X, Elegante. Does anybody... Okay, nope. Thank you, Greenlee. Really appreciate you. I actually prefer Renaissance over Naxos. I think Naxos is overhyped. It becomes very generic after a while. What do you think about the Dumont lines, Nitro Red, White, and Blue? White is cool. Blue and red are mid. Your top Armaf clone, please. There's a lot of great ones. Odyssey Ohm Black. Pre-show is really excellent. You know, the Club de Nuit line is always special to me. I like Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition. I like Milestone. I think that's something people sleep on. They think it's too playful. I like it. Noir de Noir clone. So Afnan or Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Woman. I like wearing it as a male fragrance. I think it's way more masculine. I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, this is really close to Prada Luna Rosa Black. It's more Noir de Noir from Tom Ford, but it's got that same mysteriousness, that darkness, that spices, that patchouli. That's a lady killer. 25 and down might have a hard time rocking it, but I actually still think as a young man, you can get away with it. And if you can get away with it, you will knock down anything in sight. My sweater is super hot. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to have a musty white tee, and that's okay. I really don't care. You guys know me. I don't care. What could you recommend for a daily frag for a mostly warmer climate country? Well, I mean, I'm in Arizona, so it's 100 plus most of the year. Daily frag for warmer climate weather. We are going to go with a fragrance I gave to my boy Trey Fragrances. Definitely go check him out if you haven't. Which is Ferragamo's Bright Leather. People hear the word leather and they get turned off because they only think about fragrances like Tuscan leather, effing fabulous, ombre leather. You know what I mean? It's and then the clones. Ferragamo Bright Leather almost isn't leather at all. In the same way that Ganymede's suede note is not leather either. This is mostly 70% citrus basket, but a more sweet take on citrus, not as zingy, not as bitter. It's super fresh in the same way that Vetiver Sensual is. So if you like Vetiver Sensual, the citrus is on that. Just bright, ambery, happy, super uplifting citruses, and then the tiniest note of leather, but it's not animalic leather, it's blonde leather. So it almost acts like suede, but it still has a good leather richness that gives you just sophistication. It's one of the top 3 designer everyday leather wears that almost doesn't even smell like leather. That is going to be amazing in high heat. And there's a ton more I could have recommended to you, but I've just really been enjoying what Bright Leather has been doing on my skin. And a lot of people I've recommended it to, gosh, I look dirty. A lot of people I've recommended it to, you know, I've just been falling in love with it. How long does Valencia Uomo Intense last? Okay, so Valencia would be the clone, right, sheep? The question is, where is it? Do I even have it on the shelf right now? Where is Valencia? Well, technical difficulties. Oh, wait, no. Here we go. Okay. So Valencia Uomo Intense. You know, because it's a clone and it's one of those TJ Maxx already out on the shelf clones, the performance isn't quite 8 hours plus, but I would comfortably say that this Valentino Uomo Intense clone probably gets me like 6 to 8 hours, but I do overspray it because it is so fresh smelling. I think you should do like 6 to 8 sprays of it, and it's going to get you 6 to 8 hours of pretty solid performance. But nonetheless, the performance isn't as important here as it is the fact that it's so close to the DNA. The fact that you're getting a Valentino Uomo Intense clone for less than $15 that even lasts over 4 hours is insane. So this is worth 5 bottles in my opinion. Like, this is a great stocking stuffer for an everyday, sexy, casual to semi-formal, romantic, soft, powdery iris, fresh like Dior Homme Parfum, but smooth like a Givenchy Gentleman Reserve type of feel, but it's ultra fresh still. They've really blended a lot of great components, and it's certainly a part of my top 5 best iris designer fragrances in the world. Is Le Male Le Parfum too much for school? No, I don't think so, Morbell, because chicks wear a lot of overly sweet body sprays in high school, and so a man wearing an overly sweet fragrance is not going to be too much either. I did not expect bro to beatbox for real. Of course, man. We rap, we beatbox, we do it all in here. Oh, I appreciate it, Kale. Thank you. Do you have Xerjoff Renaissance, and is it worth getting? Absolutely. Renaissance is in the top 1 best Xerjoff fragrances for most men, not boys. Abdui says, yo, what do you think of the Nautica Voyage for summer? It's great. I always tell people, Banana Republic Arctic Slate, which is now discontinued, you cannot find it. I am giving it away decanted to my subscribers currently. Nautica Voyage, and what's the other one? Risasi Hawass. To me, all 3 of those are almost exactly the same. Hawass is tiniest bit more bubblegummy. Nautica Voyage is the tiniest bit more green apple-y. And Arctic Slate is the tiniest bit more soft aquatic, but still close to Hawass, just less bubblegummy. How long have you been collecting fragrances? So it's actually funny. Okay, so I started actually officially collecting fragrances 2 years ago. I've been wearing fragrance for about 30, yeah, that's a stretch. I'm gonna safely say 25 years. How about Mugler Amen Pure Havana for Naxos? No, that's a stretch, Greenlee. That's a stretch. Mugler is also a fragrance that people either love or absolutely hate. So I think anybody attempting to wear a Mugler fragrance has to decant or sample it before they buy it. I get compliments from Nitro Red and White. Nitro Red is still a good fragrance, but Club de Nuit Milestone is miles better than Nitro Red, in my opinion. The watermelon note is way more sophisticated. On Fragrantico, they call it red fruits. It's watermelon. Amber, vetiver for the complexity. More briny watermelon, better for hot weather, radiates better off skin, performance is 10 hours plus, very luxurious smelling. Nitro Red feels very candied watermelon, sweet. It just is not masculine to me, but it's still a good fragrance. The Alexandria 1981 for Naxos, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. BT Sense covers the Alexandria Naxos interpretation very well. Spice Bomb Extreme, absolutely. Renaissance, good for school. If you're in high school, Renaissance, you should pretty much stay away from Xerjoff fragrances if you're in high school. It would definitely be a good signature scent for college. If you're in high school, I think the only fragrance that could really rock inoffensively from Xerjoff in college might be Lua. Maybe Herba Pura, but I don't feel like Herba Pura is masculine at all. So I don't know. I would stay away from Xerjoff completely if you're in school. I just don't think that's an appropriate fragrance. Xerjoff is aiming to be distinct and luxury, and that's just not really the feel you want to go for, especially since they're not really making commercial fragrances, in my opinion, for the most part. Got to have Spice Bomb Extreme in your collection. It's one of a kind. Absolutely. But if you can't afford it, Odyssey Homme Black will scratch your Spice Bomb itch, and it'll scratch your Tom Ford Noir itch. Liquid Brun is fire, okay? You know, a lot of people do say that. It's a little too sweet for me, but it's still a great fragrance. I just got here. What is that dupe called? I don't know which one you're referring to, Ryan. Favorite Jordan? None. Liquid Brun, definitely fire, but I don't know how I feel about Azure Oud. Wait, you rap. Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, I have a career as a rapper and an audio engineer. And as far as how beatboxing plays into that, I used to battle in beatbox competitions with some of the best beatboxers now currently in the world on YouTube. Guys like Korean Effects, guys like Zede, Z-E-D-E. Those are all guys I used to battle in the European scene when I was in high school. I was actually one of the youngest competitive beatboxers in the very early 2000s, from like 2001 to about 2007. Can you suggest a budget Middle Eastern perfume for women to wear in the summer? A budget Middle Eastern. See, that's the tough part. I'm going to be honest with you, Maggie. I'm going to try to think about this out loud for you, even though I don't immediately have an answer. So a lot of women, about 10 to 15% of my channel is women, and they normally come to my page to get recommendations for their husband, their boyfriend, or their children. And as I've seen that in my analytics, I've started thinking about the women more. So what I've been doing is I've bought a ton of female fragrances to review on the channel for women, and we've already started. We did Bond Number 9's New York Flowers. We did YSL Libra. And also another reason women come to this channel is because I review a ton of unisex fragrances that they're interested in. However, I do want to get into more female exclusive fragrances. So I have like probably 30, this isn't all of them, but I have like 30 of the most worn female fragrances that I'm starting to review on this channel as of this week. And And so I'm excited to get into that for you. However, right now, the only summer fragrances that come to my mind would be something like YSL Libre, Eau de Parfum, or EDT. If you can't afford it, go to microperfumes.com and get a travel spray of it for less than $12 to $15. And that'll give you a couple weeks of wearing, especially if you're a light sprayer. The bottle, though, you can get it for about $90 for 100 ml, and that'll last you probably years. Another good, safe fragrance for warm weather for women right now that's super versatile. If you want something, so my wife likes fresh floral clean, very light projection, not super loud. So YSL Libre is very good for that. Slightly sweet, floral, very clean, touch of powder, very beautiful fragrance for women. Another one, if you want more of a sweet thing, like you come from a Bath and Body Works, you wear lotions and sprays and stuff like that. Another really safe wear for you that is signature worthy is probably Prada Luna Rosa, Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma Donna or whatever. I'm probably saying that slightly wrong at the end, but look up the one that's Donna. I'm actually going to look it up for you. Prada women. Oh, not Prada. What am I saying? Valentino Uomo women Donna. Let's see what it gives me. Yeah, so Valentino Intense Donna, Born in Roma. And you can get that for as low as like $80. That's another safe bet. It is slightly sweeter than something like a Libre, but those are two off of my mind that I know are just beautiful signature scents, everyday wears, and they wear more on the moderate side. They're not extremely loud, but they definitely project and have very beautiful DNAs to them. Can you suggest better? Oh, and you said Middle Eastern. So, I mean, it's so hard for women because women don't really have I mean, I know some women that have a ton of fragrances, but typically I find that most women just want to have a couple of really good bottles. So from that standpoint, I find that it's very tough to just tell you to go straight into cologne wearing for women. Um, hmm. Yeah, I can't really recommend anything currently from Armaf or Afnan or Latafa. I know there's some good ones, but I just don't want to blindly recommend those until I actually put my nose on them as of recently. What we're going to do for women on this channel is we are going to review the top 50 designer fragrances for women. And then once we have all of those reviews in the next month or so, then we're going to dial back and see all of the clone renditions of all of those fragrances. So fragrances like YSL Libre, fragrances like Donna, Born in Roma and stuff. We're going to look for all of the valid clones and then get those and smell them as well. So until we do that, I just don't have very many selections. But if I were you, I would look into Latafa, Afnan, um, uh, Ard Al Zafaran, Paris Corner, Amir, which is the same thing, FOMO, because the only thing I could recommend right now is unisex fragrances. So for instance, if you wanted Grand Soir, a vanillic amber, I would say Eternal Oud from Latafa, but that's more of a cold weather fragrance, but it can double for any season, any reason. Amir Celestial, Vibrant Vetiver, Delight. Elysium is very beautiful unisex for women. It's citruses on woods with vetiver. It's pretty nice as well. Latafa Milestone. Even something like La Leak's Ecus can double as a unisex. Warm amber, vetiver, bergamot, citrus, fresh. It really just, women are so picky and specific, you know. Some women like very loud, very sweet, very gourmand. Some women like very loud and sweet and fresh. Some women like very soft and dainty and floral. Some women like a combination between that and sweet. Some women like luxurious and powder. It's hard to give a very blind recommendation without a lot of context. But hopefully, my little blind, ramble just now took you into a better place to maybe do some investigating. And then in the meantime, I'll do my part by putting out more episodes for women and looking into more fragrance recommendations for women for sure. Because right now, the only things I can really recommend is designer and niche for women. And you clearly want a clone fragrance. So I'm sorry. I'm on the fence about L'Homme Ideal Extreme. Is it nice? I don't think L'Homme Ideal Extreme is worth the money. I think Supreme L'Homme Extreme from Fragrance World is actually beautifully done. It's about a 90 to 95% close rendition of L'Homme Ideal Extreme. And if you want it to feel more L'Homme Ideal Extreme-ish with the sophistication in the back, more of that champagne dark feel, I would layer it with Bentley for Men Absolute. But I think even on its own, it's a beautifully close rendition to that fragrance. I'm on the, I didn't get Azure Oud yet. Don't think I'd wear it, so I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't get it, Kevin. I wouldn't get it. I think it's all hype. Instead of Mugler, just get Starman Nebula. That's good too. But I don't think you can blind buy Nebula. I don't recommend Azure Oud. It's rough. Okay, 10-4. What do y'all think of the new Latafa Assad bourbon? I haven't put my nose on it yet, but from a lot of people that I really trust, it's a good fragrance, but it's not special. And that's really the issue now, is for people who are familiar with the clone game, the bourbon fragrance just feels like another slightly thoughtful fragrance. It doesn't feel standout signature. You know, when I see stuff like Off Non-Supremacy Collector's Edition, even though it's another Aventus rendition, it's special because they put more of that oak moss in it. It's a lot smoother of a blend. It's like Peugeot. Peugeot, even though there's tons of renditions, they did an amazing job. It's probably the closest thing we have to Absolute Aventus. And those two fragrances alone completely wipe out the rest of the Aventus market. The entire Club de Nuit line, all of the off-non, not only Intense Supremacy, the L'Aventure, the Nitro, whatever Nitro fragrances Aventus, just everything, man. They killed those. But I think that's what we're looking for, is fragrances that just further have a better blend, are standout, good ingredients, and we're willing to pay the extra $10 or $20 it takes to make that juice better. We're all used to spending $20, $30 on clones, but the reality is if we've seen all of them. If there's just one fragrance that costs $40, $50, but you're going to wear it every day, now we're talking. I'll sell 4 of my bottles to get that one bottle. Boss Bottled Absolute is really good. It is. Have you heard of Rossano Cortini Uomo Machili? No, I haven't. I have not. Is it good? I rap too, mostly at King of the Dot. Oh yeah, Ryan? Believe it or not, I don't believe you for 1 second. But even if it was true, so King of the Dot is ran by a man named Organic. And when I was a teenager, I used to battle Organic when he was under the name, because a lot of people don't know the owner of King of the Dot actually was a former battle rapper for a long time. He actually battled Disaster. And I didn't know when I was a kid who he was because he went under the name Mike Tyson, but he spelled it M-I-C. And he was a freestyler, and he would be in Ventrilo and MIRC, which was an old gaming chat platform. But in this old platform, they used to find people all over the internet. And this is how my career with beatboxing took off, is they would bring beatboxers and freestylers into the Ventrilo, and they would do like prank calls and stuff and leave their microphone on so the whole chat could hear it and stuff. This is like Twitch before Twitch, you know, but with no video. And I used to freestyle in there, and we used to do word association. People would throw out words and we would freestyle. And one day there was this guy named Mike Tyson in there, and it was organic. And we used to battle often. And he used to rap really kind of like gore and hardcore, like death rap type stuff. And he was phenomenal back then. His freestyle game was impeccable, but I was really solid back then too. So we used to have a lot of back and forths. One of these days I'm gonna meet him probably, because I talk right now currently with a couple of battle rappers in the URL. So there's not a lot of events that come through Arizona, but maybe one day I might actually get to talk or meet Organic, and I'll tell him, hey man, do you ever remember battling on Ventrilo TeamSpeak servers for gaming back in the day? I know he'll remember it because it was a significant part in time where rappers were interacting with gamers, and you know, he was kind of like you know, a really good freestyler. But yeah, I actually quite involved in the battle rap scene. And I used to battle rap as well, but I mostly stuck to beatboxing and making records and stuff. A lot of people I know have ran into Rozelle as well, including I think Kix. Kix Griffey on here said he ran into Rozelle. I think he said he ran into Rozelle. I love Rozelle. Rozelle is the LimeWire, BearShare, Kazaa phenomenon. Back when that was super popular, he was popping in on everybody's radar on search engines, you know, best beatbox ever, you know, and everybody learned his classic If Your Mother Only Knew and Four Elements beatboxes. The guy was insane. Did you all hear School of Sense Atrium is a community sourcing a frag concept and will put out a single batch to consumers? I have. Le Male Parfum or Le Male Elixir. Le Male Elixir. I disagree, Ryan. I disagree. I think Le Male Parfum, younger guys tend to gravitate towards that, and for men 25 or 30 and up, Le Male Elixir tends to gravitate because of the tobacco. It just feels like a more manly fragrance. It deviates from the JPG DNA in that it's less sweet, more manly. And I think that's what that fragrance line has always needed, is a fragrance that dials back the sweetness by about 2 notches and ramps up on edgy manliness. So that honey, tobacco, vanilla combo, I think, is best appropriate. It's been what they've always been missing. But Le Male Parfum is still good. I mean, it's great, but I just think it's age specific. Thinking of Tarathi Blue, you get your nose on that. Tarathi Blue's good. I got it back there. I think, to be quite honest, for me, the LV Imagination and the LV Imagination and what else is it? And the Bulgari Tigar DNA are just getting really boring to me. The massive citrus medley on Aquatics and Woods is about as redundant to me as the entire Jean-Paul Gaultier line of just overly producing tropical / honey sweet vanillic fragrances. It's just overdone. It's not my thing. How you doing, Scent Bubble? How you doing, Moongia? Good to see you. Good to see you. You know, and again, I love Tarathi Blue just as much as anybody else, but it just gets boring after a while. You know, during the summer, it's almost like, you know, to me, and you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys, you know, I get the same feel from these two fragrances. Not that they're the same fragrance, but they're so close in the family with each other. Basket of citruses on woods, has a aquatic freshness, not necessarily aquatic, but a fresh, watery feel to it. Citrus basket, water, slight woods. Very versatile, fresh, any season, any reason, but anything near water or outdoors, this is great. Trust me, I get it. And it feels very close to Imagination, but just a little more zesty. But to me, FOMO beats it out because of the vetiver. That fruit basket on Wood's situation becomes so much more earthed and toned down and gravitated and weighty and sophisticated when vetiver comes under it. And that's why I think Club de Nuit Milestone is better than Nitro Red, because they put vetiver under it and it just grounds the fragrance in this earthiness. It's the same reason I think Hasselblad's better than Aventus, because Aventus grounds their fragrance with birch, and then Nishane Hasselblad grounds it with birch and oak moss. And that just adds two earthy grounding gravity elements that add to the sophistication. So for me, I'm going to grab Elysium more than Bulgari Tigar, even though the DNA here is special. It's just not really grounded in anything. They leave it at the fruit basket freshness, zesty water feel, and then it doesn't go anywhere else. This goes to earthy. This goes to amber, and you can distinctly make them out behind the fragrance. So Tarathi Blue is great, but I think when you, this is like the Phantom versus the Bentley. This is the Bentley fragrance. Now, are there other fragrances in this wheelhouse that can match up with the weight class of this? Absolutely. Something like Laliki Kus, another amber vetiver fragrance, but this focuses on a zingy, vetiverish bergamot note, not a basket of fruit. So this is even more masculine while still having that amber vetiver with citruses up top. Because they didn't do a basket of fruits with this, this feels a little bit more linear, but it has a little bit fougere-esque quality to it, but it's still super modern, and it's cleaner. This feels more fruit basket-esque and more outdoors pool vibes and on the beach in LA, sunny day, you know. But these are higher caliber to me than like a Tarathi Blue. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to take all last minute questions, answer them really quickly, and then sign off because I am tired. It is, what time is it? Jeez. Guys, it is 11:30 here. Okay. Never got on the Valentino train, but I do like Salvador Ferragamo Uomo Signature. We just reviewed that on the channel, Ryan. It's a good fragrance. I'm going to have to grab, I don't think Ferragamo Uomo Signature is for everybody. It's very unique. It's actually more unique than I expected it to be. I thought it would be more mass appealing. It has a uniqueness like Terre de Hermes. They're nowhere near the same fragrance. They're not at all the same fragrance, but they're similar in that even though both of those fragrances are widely popular, there are still some people that just absolutely hate Terre de Hermes. They hate bitter orange. They hate vetiver. And there's even women who smell Terre de Hermes that just say it's too unique, it's too artsy because of its rendition. And I think the same thing with Uomo Signature. You know, the components of it are beautiful and complex, but in an artful way. So that I think it's not for everybody, but for the people it's for, it's really special. You know, honestly, I got my Tarathi Blue for $9 on TikTok Shop, so I'm not mad with my purchase of Tarathi Blue. And it is really close to Tigar. I just smelled it a couple days ago. Is Halloween Man Shot discontinued? That's such an underrated scent. You know, Ryan, I couldn't find this for retail for a price I would pay. I actually found this in a Facebook group. Somebody bought it, sprayed it twice. It wasn't special enough to them. I don't get it. To me, this is Lamal Elixir without the tobacco. Just a smooth, vanillic, slightly warm, spicy fragrance. Super seductive. Touch of incense, even though they don't have it listed. Fresh, aquatic. Dude, I got this for a steal. I found it on a Facebook marketplace, almost entirely full juice for 20 bucks I paid. It was an absolute highway robbery. I think I might have even got it for 15. But I don't think it's discontinued. I just think it's super limited batch. And because of that, it's very up priced on like eBay and all these different websites, but it does sometimes still pop up. But I think your best chance of finding it is going to be on the Facebook Marketplace group page. Like, just find fragrance groups on Facebook to join and hope that it pops up, because the Halloween fragrances definitely show up. Man Shot is going to be the rarest one to show up, but I have seen it pop out. Absolutely, Maggie. That's perfect. I have Bentley Absolute. Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Try it out. How close is Trainery to Green Irish Tweed? If I was being technical, Greenlee, I would like if somebody was holding a gun to my head, I would say 85% close. But I think to most people, it's about a strong 9 out of 10 closeness to Green Irish Tweed. It's definitely close enough to not buy Green Irish Tweed. But again, I think the Green Irish Tweed DNA is a little bit overhyped in the same way. Oh, in the same way that Bond Number 9 Lafayette Street is overhyped. Yeah. Put on 3 sprays of Boss Bottled Absolute a few hours ago. Smells so good. I bet you it does. Yeah, I know. Organic. Look me up. My name is Locust. I've never heard of that name. Do you actually have a battle on the King of the Dot circuit? Battle Rapper Locust. Oh, you're on Verse Tracker. I'm just going to see who you've battled real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm like a battle rap encyclopedia. I was first introduced into battle rap at the rap, what was it called? The Battle Rap Olympics, or the Battle Rap, it was the Canada versus America Battle Rap Championship 2-on-2 event, and I was probably about 15 or 16. That was the first group of battles I ever saw. Outside of, your Cassidy Freeway and all that stuff, and the Smack DVD era and all that, my first internet introduction to battle rap was the World Rap Championships. That's what it was. But I just want to see who you've battled. Okay, so you battled mostly Canadians. You battled Sharon in 2010. Wow. That's awesome, man. That's amazing. That looks like probably your biggest fight, right? I mean, not to you personally. I'm just saying, like, as far as exposure. That's awesome. That's really cool. You got to battle Sharon. That's beautiful. Yeah, I have a few battle rap affiliations. One obviously is Rum Nitty, since he's from my city, not my city, but close enough to say my city. He's about 20 minutes away. Another guy from Arizona, who's affiliated with Rum. What was his name? Oh my gosh, he battled Head Ice. What is his name? I forget, because he jumped in for a hot minute and then left. I have affiliation somewhat to Easy the Block Captain. One of my good close friends, 7J, he was one of the winners with Clone from John the Don's Battle League, and eventually went on to do some pretty big fights. And then the Christian scene, so guys like Loso, guys like A Ward, those guys are all in my camp. But yeah, I've been watching battle rap forever, man. That's really nice. That's really cool, man. Very cool. Nice little battle rap tangent. I bought my daughter Eclair and Nebris Tungu. It really smells the same, but she loves the Latafa Eclair. Okay. I just bought Iconic, and it's actually really good. Blue Electric dupe. You think Iconic Nui. Is that the same thing? That's not Club D Nui Iconic, is it? Joel's Matrix, I subbed to your channel. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Joel posts often, guys, but you should follow him anyway. I mean, anytime he's even around, it's a real treat. He's kind of like a niche, Yoda. Have you tried Armani Code or Absolute? Was interested in buying. To me, Armani Code Absolute is chef's kiss. I subbed then unsubbed when he called me a liar for spitting in KOTD. Oh, that's funny. Oh, you're talking about me. Hey, listen, man, that's okay. You got to remember where you're at. When you come into a fragrance channel and you're talking to somebody who's been battle rapping and watching battle rap since 2000 really, I'm not going to believe you at face value. Oh yeah, I battle on KOTD and your name's Ryan Chevery, which is a name not associated with battle rap at all. So of course, I'm going to be skeptical, but no, I looked you up, man. You're valid. That's awesome. Have you got a JPG Le Male Le Parfum? Just Google it, man. There's some really solid Le Male clones. Le Male Le Parfum or Invictus Victory Elixir. To me, Le Male. Invictus, dude, Invictus pisses me off. Victory Elixir, Aqua, all that, it's just played out. Like, they're all just slightly better versions of freaking Banana Republic Arctic Slate, Nautica Voyage, or Rasasi Hawass. They're not special. And it's frustrating because even Paco Rabanne fragrances, even 1 million Lucky, 1 million Elixir and all that stuff, like it's cool, but it's never going to be better than Spice Bomb. It's never going to be better than Tom Ford Noir or Noir de Noir or Noir Extreme. Like, these fragrances are like Wrigley's bubblegum versions of the spicy sweet DNA. If you just come into the game in terms of designer, it's their quality and they're formulated well, but in that wheelhouse of DNA, there's just so many more celebrity level fragrances that are affordable, even in the clone category, that it's like, why even bother? No, if even to me, if you didn't own any fragrances and you went into a Sephora or whatever and you tried Gucci fragrances, you tried YSL, you tried Paco Rabanne, you tried 1 Million, you tried Givenchy, you tried Dior, Paco Rabanne feels so boy toy compared to everything else, really. Now, do they have fragrances that are better than other fragrances in lines? Absolutely. But they just overkill. They just overkill the sweet DNA. They don't put any sophistication behind the sweet. They're just overly sweet and out in the air. Sweet spicy, sweet tropical. And it's just or sweet aquatic, bubblegum aquatic. And it's just bro, been there, done that. If I'm a kid, I'm in love with it at first sniff, but not until I figure out about everything else. Now, don't get me wrong. People who have Paco Rabanne, people who have 1 Million, people who have Azzaro, well, I don't want to put Azzaro in this because that's a little unfair. But people who have those DNAs, Jean-Paul Gaultier, they have multiple bottles from whatever their favorite line is, and they just overkill it. And it's bro, one of those fragrances encapsulates the entire thing. All you need is one bubblegum aquatic. All you need is one, metallic aquatic. All you need is one tropical sweet. All you need is one spicy sweet. It's just overkill. And in those categories, there's just better fragrances. But I could be tripping. When's the next Wheel of Fragrance? This weekend. Do you have a #1 cologne? I don't. I only have my favorite fragrances of right now. And of right now, my favorite fragrance to wear this week is probably a tie between Memo Paris African Leather, and Mancera Vetiver Sensual. Those are tied right now for some of my favorite fragrances I've worn this week that have just made me feel good. Vetiver Sensual is so uplifting, so bright, so sophisticated, so long-lasting. African Leather is so unique, so just balls deep. Like, it's just the fragrant, like when you wear African Leather, this is how the fragrance makes me feel. Like I'm just walking into the building and I'm like, I feel invigorated. I feel confident. I feel powerful. I feel like an intense amount of invigorating energy. It's just, when people say manliness in a bottle, they'll say a dumb fragrance after it that just doesn't make sense. African Leather is manliness in a bottle. It's like a manly hit of cocaine or something crazy. Like, I don't even know, dude. It's just, it has this gripped fistness to it. It's wild, it's edgy, but then it's still very commercial and seductive, but it's like zingy too. Like, it's just, it's one of those special DNAs that like literally is a trump card to like 50-60% of most DNA structures. I have the perfume Al Harmain Amber Oud and Club de Nuit Black, and I mix those two perfumes and I leave the entire house smelling. I'm sure you do. Yeah, Morbell is really young. Okay, new here, interesting. What's going on, getting by? Okay, guys, hey, listen, so here's what we're gonna do. Y'all know I'm tired because I took off my shirt and put on basically a sock drawer shirt, you know what I'm saying? So y'all know you got me out here looking like Django, and I'm extra tired. Any last minute questions? This is the final hour. I will be in here for about 1 more minute while I get a drink. You know, I sip on some beverage and take a piss. If you have any last minute questions, put them in the chat right now. We're going to answer them and then sign off. Really appreciate you guys for stopping by. We've been getting it in. Make sure you're liking, commenting. Actually, screw all that. Just subscribe, because we have episodes that have been dropping for the last 90 days consistently every single day. Probably one of the only fragrance channels that not only drops every single day, but is also doing my own fragrance game show, which has not been seen at all in the fragrance space. We post reviews, discounts, where to find fragrances, resources. We send decants to the subscribers. We really get it in. So make sure y'all ask your questions, and if not, do what Joel said. I will be back in 1 minute. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you guys a last minute view of the fragrance batch while you guys think of your questions. Ugh. Yo, Massey, you on tonight? Oh, no, I was just curious. I'll be right back. You on tonight, buddy? Yo, you on tonight? Okay, give me like a minute. I just gotta close out of my live. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna def. All right. Is Joma Shop real? Yes, it absolutely is. Okay, guys. Hey, listen, thank you so much for joining into the live. I hope it was informative. I hope it was inspirational. And I hope you guys don't take anything to heart. I'm just one person. And give you guys a different angle of the studio. I'm just one person, and my opinions and views are my opinions and views. I give you guys my fragrance journey. Hopefully, I give you guys a lot of context to why I make recommendations and how I think through fragrance. And that context allows you to acknowledge the fact that I'm just one person, and you guys can absolutely have differing opinions that are just as true and right in your own eyes. And I just want to elevate the space, man. Like, document my journey, share my views unapologetically, and I hope that that gives you guys value and resourceful information to enjoy your fragrance journey. So thank you guys so much. Moderators, thank you guys so much. Joel, thank you for moderating. Greenlee, thank you for putting the scent descriptions. And man, love y'all, man. Really appreciate you guys being in here constantly. And I hope you guys have a great, blessed night. Until tomorrow, I need to shave this beard. I'm looking crazy. So we will get tightened up, get our beauty sleep, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.